FM, where the pros play. Brandon Medina and Michael Jimenez are the Fantasy Gods. Brought to you by RDK Advisors.
San Antonio, good morning. You are live. The church is open. It is playoff time, baby. My name is Brandon Big Papi Medina. That is Michael Jimenez. Welcome to the Fantasy Gods. Michael, how are we doing, brother?
Oh, I am doing fantastic. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to celebrate fantasy football. As you just said, Brandon, it is playoff time. I cannot believe we finally made it.
Absolutely, and we made it basically, by skinning our teeth, right? I mean, it is just it. We made it through COVID. You made it through the lineup changes. If you made the playoffs, congratulations. Me and Michael have made the playoffs in a couple different leagues. In our listener league, Michael will be the solo fantasy god only because I lost in points total, which is crazy, Mike. You look at it. You have a 7-6 record. I have an 8-5 record. I was in a murderer's row. My division, the top. I think there's 6 people in that division. 5 of them have a better record than the number 1 in your division. It is just how can I get out?
I felt a little bit bad, okay, because I want to let you know that I looked at the numbers. It was not smoke and mirrors at all. Okay. No. I was 7-6, but I was also the third highest scoring team. So what that basically means is that you had a murderer's row division. I had a murderer's row lineup in the sense that every time I played somebody, they were blowing up.
Yeah.
So I made it by the skin of my teeth at 7-6. So yes, I am representing, and I'm going to be honest, man. I am not confident at all in this week's game. I wish I could go out here and say, yes, I'm a fantasy god. I'm going to dominate this guy. Whoever Gabriel Diaz is, I'm going to take his team down. By the way, the best fantasy name that we had in our league was Mexican Adam
Schefter. Yes.
Fantastic. But, man, I like my team. I really do like my team. I just don't like my team's matchups today. So I'm he blocked me on a waiver just right now. Oh, my God.
Oh,
I am just
becoming
so
personal.
Frustrated. Yeah.
What's crazy, man, is I looked at it. I missed the playoffs by exactly 40 points. So 40 points is what did me, and I can look back at 2 games and I know what did it to me. Michael Thomas week 1. Okay, that did it to me. And then Deontay Johnson week 7, whenever he had the concussion, had to go out the game, and it was 0.8 points. Those 2 games could have been the deciding factor for me. Obviously, Antonio Gibson, some of his early game stuff like that. But that's what's crazy. We've seen and we've been in situations where either you make the playoffs or miss the playoffs off of a 5-point difference, off of a 3-point difference. It happens. You look at when quarterbacks have to take a knee. All that counts when it comes to yardage, and some of those points are needed to make the playoffs. And here we are finally. Luckily enough, no games canceled, everything getting moved around. But if you made it through the playoffs, you can happily say you made it through the playoffs in the most unfortunate of circumstances with COVID.
Oh, this was the year that you had to be an excellent team owner in order to make the playoffs. You couldn't just draft your team, set it, and forget it. You had to be proactive with your team. And when we created this listener league, Brandon, man, I did not understand how good of owners that we would have, man. Our waiver wire was pillaged. People were making the right moves. This was like the best of the best of the best. I do feel bad that you're on the outside this year with the playoffs because you had a really good team. You're 8-5, a very scary team, but that just shows you how good of the talent that we had of owners who took part in our league. And we hope that next year we have another league, maybe even 2 leagues. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think. For the most part this year, I got to be honest with you, this is going to be a year that I'm not used to. I think for the most part, I made the playoffs in 3 out of my 6 leagues, but in the other 3, I'm probably going to finish, 5th to 6th in a 12-man league. And the one league I'm hoping to win is a 16-person league. In that league, when you talk about pillaged, there is the cashier at HEB on the free agency wire. There's nobody else available anywhere. So that one's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think if you made the playoffs, be happy, celebrate the small victories before hopefully a big one today. But this is a playoffs like no other. You had to roll with the punches. You had to roll with COVID protocol. You had to roll with a surmountable of injuries at a wide receiver and running back. You had to roll with QB changes. This is the big year where even if you lose your fantasy league, if you made the playoffs, and let's say a 10-person league, a 16-person league, a 12-person league, you should be happy because usually we only do 4 playoff spots, and if you're the top 4 in your league, this was a league that definitely was not one to easy to win.
Oh, Brandon, can I tell you about my media league, the one that
Tell
I've
me,
been in
brother.
for about 20 years?
Yeah.
Okay, I have had a lot of success in that league, but they made fun of me last year because I lost the first game of the season, rattled off 12 wins in a row, and was 1 and out in the playoffs, 1 and done. This year, I started the league 1 and 2, and now I'm on a 9-game winning streak to end the year. So the fact of the matter is that right now I'm looking at it just going, oh my God, just don't do that again. Just don't go on an 8 to 10 game winning streak again just to bow out in week 1.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's the worst feeling, right? Getting bowed out in week 1. You definitely want to try to make it to that week 2. You want to make it to that championship week.
Yeah.
With that, let's talk about who's in and who's out, Michael. Who's out today that people need to get out of their lineups?
Well, let's talk about who's out. Christian McCaffrey, again, out. Kind of weird, though, because I saw a tweet earlier today saying that he is looking at actually coming back as early as next week. So for
Okay.
those of you who still have Christian McCaffrey, he may still have some value, but he is out for this week. Myles Gaskin is also out for the Dolphins, along with their second string and third string running back, all because of COVID-19 protocol. Antonio Gibson of the Washington football team, excellent year, fantastic rookie. He is out. David Johnson is out for the Houston Texans. Kyle Rudolph for your Vikings is out. Julio Jones, another big name. DJ Moore. How about this for a kicker? We have Zane Gonzalez out for Arizona. So if you have him as your kicker, want to take him out. And also Brandon Cooks of the Houston Texans is also out.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways this can go, right? Christian McCaffrey owners have to be hating this news, and I'm one of them. And you have to be absolutely frustrated. And if you didn't make the playoffs because of Christian McCaffrey, even more. If you did make the playoffs without Christian McCaffrey, kudos to you. But now you were probably hoping to rely on him for the playoffs, and here we are. Miles Gaskin's a huge miss. Antonio Gibson's a huge miss, especially for people who maybe made late trades for them or picked them up off the waiver wire, whatever the case. And then I think Julio Jones is probably the biggest name. Him and DJ Moore that come off there. Does that mean off the bat, just to ask you, the fantasy god on the show, Calvin Ridley and Robbie Anderson, are they must plays this week, or is it more of a pivot because they're going to get all the attention?
No, I think so. I think so because Calvin Ridley, to start off the year, was just amazing. He had amazing stats.
Yeah.
But when Julio Jones is back in the lineup, you know, they diversify the offense a little bit more. But when Julio Jones is out of the lineup, Calvin Ridley just goes off. So, yes, that is one guy who should be in your lineup right now.
Okay, absolutely. Now let's talk about who's in. Obviously, who you should be playing is, you mentioned Brandon Cooks is out. Kiki QT might be the number 1 wide receiver for the Houston Texans. I know I picked him up in 2 of my leagues off of free agency right now off the waiver wire. And then also Daniel Jones, Matthew Stafford.
Kiki QT had double-digit targets last week.
Yes.
Uh,
I think Kiki QT is going to be a great pick this week, honestly.
Oh, yeah, he had double-digit targets last week, had over 140 yards receiving. He's one of those players, man, who just has a huge ceiling, is just not very consistent. And I've always said this, I like those type of players. There are people who shy away from those players. You wearing Vikings purple right now. Justin Jefferson is that type of player. I want a player who's going to go off for 25 or 30 points, not so much somebody who's just going to get me 7 or 8, and I can't really count on for the big play. Daniel Jones also in the lineup for the Giants today. We have some game time decisions. Some big ones. As you mentioned, Matthew Stafford, DeAndre Swift, Zeke Elliott with his calf injury. Is he going to play? More than likely, but he just lets you know he's a little bit banged up. And then also, this is actually hurting me a little bit. Frank Gore is a game time decision. He got let out last week because of a concussion. Frank Gore does not miss games, and
No.
he is coming back. I just wonder how many carries he's going to get.
Yeah, and when it comes to Frank Gore not missing games, we are the Frank Gore of radio because we do not miss your calls. We have Steven on the line. Steven, welcome into the Fantasy God. Steven, how are you doing, brother? What's your question?
Hey, doing well. Just saw something come over the wire. Wanted to see if you guys had any information. Leonard Fournette looks like he's a healthy scratch. Do you know what's going on with there?
Yeah, I did see that as well. Leonard Fournette does look like he might be a healthy scratch. Let me go ahead and check that one more time. But I saw that come on before the show, and I know we were going to get into that when it comes to running backs because of the Myles Gaskin news, because of the Frank Gore stuff, all that. I know there's a possibility that it may just be the Rojo show. So I think we'll get into that, Steven, for sure, moving forward into the show if we learn more. But I think you're correct, sir. I think he might be a healthy scratch. Does that mean Ronald Jones is absolutely a must start for you?
Yes, because when we first started this show a few months ago, Ronald Jones was one of our sleepers of the year. We said, Ronald Jones, this is some guy, very young, fresh legs, can just go off. And then they got Leonard Fournette, and that just kind of made things a little bit difficult because Fournette actually had 2 good games midway through the season. And then it just became the Rojo show all over again. Fournette has not done much the last 4 weeks anyway. So, reality, if you have Ronald Jones, put him in your lineup, most definitely.
Yeah. Steven just checked. Steven is correct. Leonard Fournette is a healthy scratch. He will be inactive today. So if you have Leonard Fournette, make sure to move that around. And then we also have Rob Martin on Facebook. What's going on, Rob? Good morning. He says Kyler Murray, Taysom Hill. Oh, man.
Okay,
Rob, come on
Rob.
now.
Rob, here's the thing. I was going to pose this question myself to Brandon. Okay,
why?
So why? Because in our listener league, this is the exact same question that I have. I have to either start Kyler Murray or Taysom Hill. And Gabriel Diaz, who's listening to the show right now because he responded on Facebook, saying all hail Mexican Adam Schefter over there. I tweeted at Gabriel earlier this week saying I have gone back and forth with this. I have changed my lineup for Kyler Murray or Taysom Hill literally 6 times this week. So, Brandon, I'm going to ask you this question for myself, too.
This is
Kyler
wild.
Murray against the Giants or Taysom Hill against the Eagles?
I don't like this. I really don't. I don't like this at all. This is I can't remember a question that makes me feel more dumb than this question. Because it seems like the gimme would be Kyler Murray. And then you go look at the stats. The Giants are the 6th best defense against the pass. Taysom Hill's going against Philadelphia, who most likely will have 0 offense. I don't know, dude. Taysom Hill's been looking really good. But here's the big thing. Taysom Hill has been looking really good, but he also had a couple of off games here and there. And I think Kyler Murray just has the biggest boom potential. That is so tough. I think if you're playing it smart for playoffs, I would go. It sounds stupid. I feel like I couldn't even say it. I feel like I would go Taysom Hill, but that doesn't even make sense to me.
And Rob Martin, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, you know that I'm wearing New Orleans Saints t-shirt. I even have New Orleans Saints beads that I have over my neck right now, around my neck right now. The one thing that worries me about Taysom Hill on this one is this. Okay, this is a matchups issue. And you are absolutely right, Brandon. The Giants have a legit defense, and it's like we just finally took notice the last 5 or 6 weeks that, hey, wait a minute, they've got something there. They played Russell Wilson so well last week that I did not even recognize Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson, former MVP, he is an elite quarterback. The Giants made him look stupid last week. Kyler Murray is not at Russell Wilson's level. But what scares me about Taysom Hill is this. Remember when they played the Broncos 2 weeks ago? Because the Broncos did not have a quarterback, and in this case, the Eagles now have a rookie quarterback under center, what the Saints did was they played the most conservative offense possible because they knew their defense was so good that they didn't want Taysom Hill to mess up. And what did they do? They didn't pass the ball. So that's the hardest thing about this is that we need to understand what is the game plan going in, and we're not going to know. As of right now, I have Taysom Hill in the lineup, and I'm probably going to change it again at 11:30 and change it again at 11:45. But I have Taysom Hill in there simply because he can get some rushing yards. And you know what? 20 yards of rushing is the equivalent of 50 yards of passing. 40 yards of rushing is equivalent of 100 yards of passing, and that's kind of my mindset right now.
I would roll with Taysom Hill, honestly. And it sounds crazy and we joke about it, but I would roll with Taysom Hill. Now, with that, before we get out of here, let's get Dancy Lana to hit that beautiful hotkey, and let's talk a little bit about Blessed He Who Starts.
Blessed is he who starts.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it, sir. The man with the plan back there in the good position. Let's talk a little bit about Blessed He Who Starts. Who are the must-starts for playoff week?
Okay, I would say anybody from the Seahawks right now.
Okay.
Wilson, DK Metcalf, you have to start those guys. They're playing against the Jets. They played the Giants last week and looked awful, but the Jets' passing defense is ridiculously bad. Anybody from the Seahawks, I know, and I bring this up because this is a no-brainer, right? Start Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson has not been himself the last month fantasy-wise, but I think this is the week that he gets back on track.
Sounds good. I have two for you guys before we get out of here. I have my Vikings purple on Justin Jefferson needs to be started. As you know, he's a must start, but I think he's going to have a fun matchup today against Tampa Bay. And then also going from my Vikings to the team I do not like whatsoever, I think Aaron Jones needs to be a must start today as well. He's been looking incredible with the Packers. So I think those two are the people you need to absolutely have in your lineups. Any last minute suggestions to put in your lineups real quick before we get out of here, Mike?
Yeah, this is probably also light a candle for, and I hate to say this, but Deandre Washington for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
He is probably
Texas Tech great.
in your league. Yep.
Texas Tech great.
Again, somebody has to be the starting running back for the Miami Dolphins this week. They have a mediocre rushing game, but man, if you can get 15 to 20 carries off of somebody off the waiver wire, you may as well do it.
Here's an unsexy pick that you need to start absolutely, and you should have been starting because I've been talking about him for about 6 weeks now. Corey Davis needs to be started as well. Bro, that game last week, 11 receptions, 182 yards and 1 touchdown. The dude has not scored under 10 points the entire year whenever he's playing. So that is a consistent player. Must start him. Let's get out of here, though. Come back. We're going to talk about Thou Shalt Bench. We're going to talk about Best Bets, Daily Fantasy, everything you need to know for today's playoff week and today's fun slate of football games. Keep it locked. ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, 1250 AM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
The Fantasy Gods is sponsored by RDK Advisors. Are you a life insurance agent or a financial advisor looking for a new start? Well, RDK Advisors is the destination for independent agents and advisors. Get direct appointments with top insurance companies, build your contract, own your book, but don't do it alone. Call RDK Advisors at 210-508-0369 or visit rdkadvisors.com.
Do you ever wonder how long you could make it financially if your paycheck were to stop due to an accident or illness? Visit callclark.com, as you don't have to wonder. The loss of your income could be devastating to you and your family. You could lose your home, automobiles, and other essentials. Don't let this happen to you and your family. You can insure your paycheck for less than 2% of your income. Do yourself a favor and contact Clark Ross with Coordinated Financial Group and learn more. Go to callclark.com to learn how to protect your paycheck today. Once again, callclark.com.
Here's an unexpected holiday surprise. A flash sale on all earrings at Diamonds Direct. This weekend, 25% off. This is something we never do, but we made a last-minute decision. All earrings marked down an incredible 25%. Diamond studs, diamond hoops, colored gemstone earrings, all included. It is one truly epic earring event. What woman doesn't love a nice pair of diamond stud earrings for Christmas? Make it happen this weekend and save an unprecedented 25%. Special financing available too. Friday through Sunday only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
San Antonio has 2 Hop Dottie locations. Hi, I'm Steve Foster, one at the Rim and the new location at the Vineyard, 1301 North Loop 1604 West, and the initial San Antonio location at 17623 La Cantera Parkway, Suite 101 at the Rim. Different and delicious burgers with fresh and all-natural ingredients. Hop Dottie also has handcrafted milkshakes and hand-cut Kennebuck fries. So get to a Hop Dottie in San Antonio. When burger is life, life is awesome.
Welcome back, one. Welcome back, all. The church is live. This is the Fantasy Gods, and we are coming back in talking about who you need to bench, answering your fantasy football questions. We are live on Facebook Live. You can tweet at us. I am at Big Poppy Brandon M. Michael Jimenez is at 210 Fantasy God. You can send your questions into at ESPN_SA. Michael, I know I had a question coming on Twitter right now, a couple questions, but I think we should answer them real quick. Some good ones here. So we have, ready, I'm going to go through it. So get prepared, sir. Here we go.
Okay.
Kyler, Brady. Who are you going there?
I would say Brady.
Okay, you would say Brady. Wide receivers, you got to start 3. Jarvis, Juju, Ayuk, T. Higgins, Jamison Crowder.
Wow. I know Higgins and Crowder are kind of banged up, right? So
Right, but the thing is, I think Higgins has the consistency, right?
Yeah.
And I think Crowder has some sort of consistency, but he has been off of his game lately. Jamison Crowder has. So I think Jarvis is probably a start.
Yeah.
Jarvis would be a start.
Okay.
Are you still trusting Juju?
Actually, not this week. No. Weather issues over there. So
Okay.
I would probably say, who was the third one that you said there?
So it goes Jarvis, Juju, Ayuk, T. Higgins, Jamison Crowder. Start 3.
If Higgins is healthy.
Okay, so Jarvis, Higgins, and then Ayuk.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
I
I'll go with
agree.
that.
Sounds good. Alrighty, now let's get into obviously playoff time. You're gonna have to make some tough decisions. We've been talking about it. We've been asked about it. If you have those tough decisions, please feel free to call the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines 210-656-ESPN or 210-656-3776. If you don't even have a tough question, maybe you just want to talk about how you got to the playoffs. Maybe you want to gloat a little bit, get yourself some airtime. Listen, feel free to call into the Fantasy Guys. We want to hear you guys.
If Gabriel Diaz is listening to the show right now,
Please.
I want him to call in. We need to talk about this.
Here it is. Gabriel Diaz. The line has been drawn, Gabriel. I know you're listening, brother. 656-3776. Once again, Gabriel, 210-656-3776. You need to talk some trash over here to Michael Jimenez. Make sure that you get him right, get in his head a little bit for that game. But right now, let's talk about thou shall bench.
Thou shall bench.
Playoff time, brother. Listen. Tough decisions have to be made. Tough benches need to be made. And there's going to be, I think, some big names that might be benched this week that maybe you wouldn't else week. What do you think, Mike, that a team or a player or a matchup that you really don't like and you want to stray away from for the playoffs?
Okay, and it's just for this week only because it's going to sound weird because last week he was amazing. He was on fire last week. Talking about Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield last week, 334 yards, 4 touchdowns. You might be holding on to him right now thinking to yourself, yeah, man, he's catching fire. He's got this consistency going on. But this week, I'm a little bit concerned about the weather conditions over there in Cleveland. I'm seeing anywhere between 15 to 23 mile per hour winds, freezing temperatures over there. I would stay away from both quarterbacks there, being Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield. But if you had to start one of the two, I would start Lamar Jackson. But I think this is going to be more of a running type of game. That's why Lamar Jackson should still have some fantasy potential there.
Yeah, I think for me, a big name that I think I'm not playing, and I'm not playing him. I have him in 2 leagues, and I'm not playing him. I'm pivoting. Miles Sanders, I'm not a fan of anymore. I don't want to play him against the number 1 defense, and I want to play him against this defense that is going to be very, very solid. Miles Sanders has looked a shell of himself since the first couple weeks. His snap count has gone down. He's given up more rushing carries to other players. I think Miles Sanders is an absolute fade for me this week. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, and that's why I'm struggling with the listener league this week. Miles Sanders being one of my running backs. So, Brandon, let me ask you one for my league. I've already talked to you about my quarterback dilemma with Kyler Murray and with Taysom Hill. But now, which ones do I start? Okay, so obviously I have Dalvin Cook. Okay, he's going to start, right?
Yeah.
Now, I've got Devin Singletary.
Wow.
Miles Sanders, poo-poo platter, right? And I picked up Ty Johnson from the Jets, who last week went for 22 carries and 104 yards and a touchdown in place of Frank Gore, who may play this week. I have to start at least one, possibly start one, and then possibly flex one. What are your thoughts?
That's awful. That's awful, Mike. This is rough. Gotta be honest with you, brother. Devin Singletary has been Devin Singletary's been getting more touches lately. Yeah. He had 18 last week, 11 the week before. Ty Johnson is an exciting opportunity to cash in late on a waiver wire pickup. Yeah. I just do not like it because Adam Gase, who's the worst coach in football, loves him some Frank Gore. I think Ty Johnson has the bigger boom potential than Devin Singletary. So for me, playoff week, you got nothing to lose. You got to risk it for the biscuit. I would play Ty Johnson and flex Devin Singletary to leave it open if you pick up another wide receiver.
That's actually what I have right now.
Okay.
That's what I have right now. The Saints defense is so good. And I've seen Miles Sanders, who, by the way, when the season started, we're so high on Miles Sanders. We thought for sure he was going to be this 17 to 1,800 all-purpose yard running back, and he just kind of just fizzled out. He has two really deceptive games where it looks like he did well. Yeah. He has some games where he has 90 yards rushing or 105 yards rushing. Then you see that one of those rushes was for 75 yards, and it completely distorts everything else that happened in that game. Without that one big play, he had a terrible game. Devin Singletary has not sniffed the end zone at all this year, just like maybe once or twice. He is not going to get you in the end zone. If I'm hoping that he just gets 20 touches somehow, rushing, receiving, and then just does a little something, because he has the potential to go off. He has the potential to take it the distance. It's just when they get it to the 5-yard line, they pull him out. And Josh Allen's the one running it in. Or they have a Zach Moss or somebody else kind of running it in. So it's kind of depressing. I'm hoping to make it to the championship next week. But, man, it's bad matchups this week all around my team.
Yeah, mine as well. And I think another player that I'm fading, which is going to be a huge surprise again, and I think some of the listeners are going to be like, this guy's out of his mind. Devonte Parker is somebody I'm not playing in my lineup as well. Kansas City has been stout against wide receivers, number 2 defense against wide receivers. Devonte Parker is incredible. I might change it and put him in the lineup, but right now he's out, and I'm between T. Higgins and Kiki QT for my last wide receiver spot. I already played Robert Woods, who didn't give me much, but I have Justin Jefferson there as well. So T. Higgins, Kiki QT, or Devonte Parker. Who are you rolling with for this week, Mike?
Probably Parker.
Really? You're still rolling with it?
I still am. You know, it's just one of those things where maybe it's just the name. Maybe it's just the fact that we got him early for a reason, and we're hoping that he shows up this time of year.
So do you think Devonte Parker going against the second best wide receiver defense would be a better play than Kiki QT going against the 4th best defense in Chicago?
Again, it's a weather issue. The problem with the Texans, though, is that they don't have a running game at all, and now David Johnson's out, and it's just bad times all around over there. I know that Deshaun Watson has played better since November 1. I would not fault you for starting Kiki Kuti, because the fact of the matter is Kiki Kuti had double-digit targets last week. So, yeah, that's not a bad play if you want to go that route either. So I think it's a coin flip, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, sounds good. Well, I know we got to get to some listener questions. We have Jose asking DeAndre Washington or Ty Johnson, even if Gore plays. Wow. So listen, there's a Kiki QT, Patrick Mahomes, DeAndre Washington. It's a Texas Tech day, baby. Listen, I'm all about it. Texas Tech rules the world now, you know what I'm saying? But DeAndre Washington, I've seen him in college. I was there My freshman year was Deandre Washington's sophomore year. He's an incredible back. Obviously, he's a fourth-string back for the Dolphins. I'm not going to expect an incredible game from him, but I know he can catch. I know he can run very well. The only thing is that Kansas City defense is very good. They're not something to be slept on. And I don't think he's going to be able to take advantage of the opportunity as much as we'd like. So I still think Ty Johnson is the play here.
Yeah, Ty Johnson has the better upside. DeAndre Washington being the four-string running back for them, and I say, blessed he who starts him, right? Fact of the matter is that if he is going to get you 80 to 90 yards, and that's what you need, because that's basically what the Dolphins do. You know, that is their how much yardage they normally get, no matter who's back there, whether it's Gaskin or anybody else. But if you need an upside potential so you have a choice. Someone that you know is going to get you 8 to 10 points, 8 to 12 points, or are you looking for somebody who might get you 4 or 20? That's the play. Do you want the consistency that you know that you can get these points for? If you need points, DeAndre Washington. If you feel that your team is behind and not as good as the team that you're playing, and you need to have that upside, then Ty Johnson is the play.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. Exactly. John said, who should I sit? Jefferson, Cooper, Godwin.
Good problem to have.
Great problem to have.
Those are all good. You start Jefferson.
Yeah.
He has shown this year that he is that guy. I would probably let's see here. Bucks at Vikings or Vikings at Bucks. I would probably bench Cooper.
Oh, there we go. God, you know what? We are on the same page today, and it feels good. First time in a long time. You know what I mean? I agree. Godwin, Jefferson must starts there, so Cooper is going to be on the bench. Jose asked, sit one. So he said sit one. Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins. I would sit Matt Stafford.
Yeah, the best of these three this week is Kirk Cousins. Okay, so
he's been on a hot streak, bro. He's been on a hot streak.
He has been. Stafford coming back from an injury. Matt Ryan going up against a really good passing defense. It's only been giving up like 167 yards last 3 weeks. I would say that if you're going to bench one, I would probably bench Stafford.
Yeah.
And just roll with Cousins.
Sounds good. And then he followed up with another question. 1 RB, 1 flex. Ronald Jones, Giovanni Bernard, Juju, Naeem Hines, or Kiki, full PPR. Ronald Jones is a must start.
Yeah, this is a Jones and Kiki play.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. The fantasy guys are finally on the same page. That's what I like to hear, man.
It took us like 14 weeks, but we're finally thinking the same.
Took us 14 weeks. I know it's not as exciting to listen to, and everybody's agreeing, but that's what we're here for. We're here to give advice, and if we're both agreeing on advice, usually that turns to good advice.
This is a completely unrehearsed show, so that's the fun part of it all.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to talk daily fantasy as well as our best bets of the week. Get your wallets ready. Make sure you call your bookie and let them know you're going to be slamming in some bets. Week 14 playoff time. ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 AM, 12:50 AM. This is the Fantasy Gods, always with you on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Cover 3 at Stone Oak in San Antonio is the place to be, whether you're looking to gather coworkers for lunch, dine with friends, or treat your sweetie to a fabulous dinner. This elegant restaurant offers ample seating with comfortable leather booths, tall cocktail tables, along with full-service dining at the bar, or you can enjoy a fun time out on the patio. So come to Cover 3 and experience dining, spirits, and sports.
Cover 3, 1806 North 1604 West, 210-479-9700.
America's Diamond offers our 5-year, 60-month financing program every day of the year. You don't have to wait for a sale to get 5-year financing with credit approval, or wait for a sale to get our guaranteed America's Diamond price, because we treat everyone fairly and with respect every day of the year. For almost 40 years, we have designed and created our extraordinary diamond jewelry right here in San Antonio. When you buy at America's Diamond, your money stays in San Antonio. Our whole company is located here and locally owned. Our kids and grandkids go to school here. All 40 of our coworkers live and shop in San Antonio for everything. Through the years, America's Diamond has supported thousands of wonderful charity events in San Antonio. We're the official jeweler of the San Antonio Spurs and of the University of Texas at San Antonio Athletics. See our television program about diamonds and jewelry tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or see it right now at americasdiamond.com.
This is for the men who never settle. The ones who refuse to let happy hour end without squeezing in one more round. The type of guys who would rather sweat from unspeakable places than stop eating the spiciest wings on the menu. And the men who still chuckle when they order their wings bone in. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Looking for a late night bite? Service industry employees receive 50% off handhelds and appetizers every day, 10 to close. Some exclusions apply.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app anytime, anywhere. Listen to more than 300 stations, along with more than 3,000 podcasts from your home area or across the U.S., all free.
With the radio.com app.
What's going on, San Antonio? What is going on? You are live with the Fantasy Gods. We are here every Sunday, 11 a.m. to kick off to make sure you get the best fantasy advice possible. I'm Brandon Medina. That's Michael Jimenez. Go give us a follow on Twitter. I am at Big Poppy Brandon M. Michael is at 210 Fantasy God, and you can hit up ESPN San Antonio at ESPN_SA. You have a question, you got less than 30 minutes to get it in, so you better get it in. Call the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 210-656-3776. Michael, what's going on?
Oh, man, I'm just here kind of super excited, super motivated about one of my teams. And then this Listener League one, the more I'm looking at my lineup, the more I'm looking at my matchup, the more I get depressed.
Oh, no.
I cannot believe I have Devin Singletary as my RB2. Miles Sanders, what did you do to me? Oh, painful.
I cannot believe that you've rolled with the punches and kept Devin Singletary. That's what I appreciate the most, is that you were the Devin Singletary. He was your my guy coming into this year, and you loved him, and you rolled with it, and I got to salute you for it, because I don't think anybody else did.
Well, think about it this way. The same way that Taysom Hill takes stats away from Alvin Kamara is the same thing that goes on with Josh Allen and Devin Singletary. If they did not have a running quarterback, Devin Singletary would be, a 1,200, 1,400 yard rushing type of running back if he was held up enough. If he was healthy enough. That's just kind of sad. But that's the thing. Take a look at Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. He takes away from Gus Edwards. He takes away from everybody else. So when you have a running quarterback, it ruins whoever's in your backfield.
Yep. No, I mean, I completely understand there. Now, when it comes to daily fantasy, Mike, what are we looking at from a daily fantasy perspective that maybe could be some solid buy-ins that you can start playing and win yourself some money?
Okay, so whenever you do the daily fantasy, Brandon, do you ever go, oh man, I wish I had $200 more, or I wish I only had an extra $500? Today I was trying to build my lineup, and it's the first time that I've ever had $1,000 remaining, and I couldn't spend it because I couldn't find someone else that I liked. So here are some of the names that I have on there. The big names I have on there are DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers, James Robinson. But look at all these mid-level ones that are so good. Kiki Kuti at 5,000.
Yep.
Corey Davis at 5,700. Logan Thomas at 3,300. Are you kidding me? Deandre Washington, who's starting for the Dolphins, 4,000.
Yeah. So for me, I have a pretty solid lineup that I think, I'm not saying you're going to win some money, but you're going to win some money. You know what I'm saying? So I just think this is a pretty solid one here. I got Taysom Hill at QB, only $6,600. I think that's a steal. There's a lot of good ones in that range. You have Kirk Cousins at $6,200, Justin Herbert at $6,800. Solid there. Running backs, Austin Eckler at $7,000. I think that's a money steal. And then I have Rojo. I have Kiki QT, Corey Davis, Justin Jefferson, and Michael Gallup. Now, Dan hit us up in the private chat. Dan said he has a very special caller. I don't have a name. Dan, can you fill us in a little bit, Dan? It seems like we have a very special caller here, Michael. How are we doing, guys? What's the question?
How confident are you this week going against the Mexican Adam Schefter?
He called in.
He called in to talk the trash.
Woo! Talk trash. Okay, here's the thing. Mexican Adam Schefter. How confident am I on a scale of 1 through 10? I'm about a 4. You and I were going back and forth on Twitter because you had Cam Akers going on Thursday, and I was like, oh my God, why is he going off for 197 yards? But he didn't see the end zone. What were you thinking when you saw Cam Edwards go off? And let me ask you this. How confident are you going up against Fantasy God OG?
Honestly, I'm like at a 7 or 8 confidence level.
A lot of confidence.
He was I didn't have him in my lineup 3 hours before the game. I was like, man, should I keep him out? Should I keep him in? What do I do? I mean, is he going to get the rock all day or not? But, hey, it worked out.
It did indeed. I am excited to see this matchup. As we talked about, unfortunately, I'm a few points behind and I'll be outside looking in. But I really hope that you smash Michael Jimenez, just because I don't want to be the lone fantasy god not in the top 3.
Okay, here's the thing. He blocked me on getting Deandre Washington off the waiver wire, right? And then doesn't start him. Oh my God!
That's what I'm talking about.
That is legit. I'll give you props on that. But here's the thing: I talk about how not confident I am in my team, right? So how the heck was I the 3rd highest scoring team? It's because I have some players that just blow up and win you weeks. So I have DK Metcalf, I have Justin Jefferson, I have Dalvin Cook. I have 3 players, and I tell you what, if 2 of them blow up, you're going down like the Titanic.
It's going to be a long night.
You're going down like the Titanic if 2 of them go off. Woo! And I still haven't decided between Kyler Murray and Taysom Hill.
I am excited. Gabriel, thank you for calling in, brother. I'm excited to see this matchup. This is going to be a fun playoff matchup. Thank you for talking your trash, brother. I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. Make sure you get that Badabaco on Big Red set to beat Michael Jimenez, maybe.
Hey, Gabriel, great team name. Great season by you. You've done fantastic this year, and I'm looking forward to you being in the 3rd place game next week.
Lots of trash talk. Anyways, let's get to our best bets. Michael, when it comes to betting advice, what are we looking at? I'll tell you what, Michael, I went back, listened to a couple of shows. I would say that our betting track record is pretty good. Like when it comes to if you're paying to get betting advice, if you're paying, if you're looking at the Action Network, you're looking at betting things here and there, we've had I'd say a win probability of about 70 to 75%. And that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very good. I would say that, especially for the ones that we consider our locks, whenever we say a lock, I mean, we're like at 90% for those.
Yeah.
This week, I'm really looking at the Packers. I think they'll cover that 8 against the Lions. The Bills, Steelers, think about this. The Steelers are only a 1-loss team, and the Bills are favored by 5.5 points. And I'm like, wow, I wish it was more because it could be more. And I would still bet for the Bills. I am not a big believer in the Steelers. That was a really bad 10-0 team, a really bad 11-0 team. I'm sorry. I'm going to take the Bills on that one. And I like the Giants pulling off the upset against the Cardinals today.
Yeah, there's some weird betting spreads today. I don't know why I think they're weird, but I do. Kansas City is only a 7-point favorite against Miami today. A -7. That seems like almost a lock. And then you have the Texans, Chicago Bears, only a 1-point difference. It's a pick'em game. No Brandon Cooks, no David Johnson. I kind of like the Bears on that +1.
I like that too.
And then you have the Cowboys Bengals, only a 3-point spread. The Cowboys are bad, but I don't think the Cowboys are that bad.
Well, that's a battle for the 3rd spot in the draft next year. Whoever loses this game is in the driver's seat for that third pick.
Yeah, so I would say my lock of the day is going to be a quick little parlay with the Bears +1 and the Chiefs -7. I feel like that would be my lock of the day.
I really do like that one. I'd say my lock of the day is the Packers. So many injuries, and we don't even know if Stafford's going to come back. I think the Packers are going to try to keep pace with the Saints, try to get a 1 spot, and that's a really I think it's a really good play right there. And then the Bills, I really like them, man. That's a really, really good team. I'm looking forward to a Bills-Chiefs AFC Championship game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with that, obviously, again, bet at your own discretion. Do not be, betting the house on these games. But definitely, I think those are some fun ones. Another good one that I really do like is the Falcons Chargers. Only 1.5 point spread. Who are you taking in that game?
I'm going to take the Chargers because they have the better defense.
I agree.
And they're getting a little bit better offensively.
I agree. I think the defense and offensively and Matt Ryan's struggles all go into that. But, I mean, you look at it, man. There are some incredible spreads today. You got Pittsburgh versus Buffalo, only a 2-point spread for each. You have Washington football team, Washington football team, the San Francisco 49ers, my apologies, only a 3-point spread. There is a lot of close games to bet on today.
Yeah, last week we were talking about the fact that 4 games had spreads of over 10, and there were like 7 or 8 that were above 8 or 7.5 points. This week, it's all going to be nail biters, is what Vegas is thinking. And there's a lot of teams here that are playing for something, like the Cardinals and the Giants. The Giants are playing for the division title. The Cardinals are trying to stay alive. Minnesota and Tampa, the same thing there. Tennessee at 8-4. There's no gimme that they're going to make the playoffs. They're playing for something. They're playing for something there. There's so much. Indy and Las Vegas. That's a good game, man. That's a really good game. Colts favored by 3 on the road. That Las Vegas team, you don't know what team's going to show up, man.
You don't. Never.
I would hate to bet for them, and I would hate to bet against them. And then look at the Jets against the Seahawks. That's the biggest spread of the week. The Seahawks favored by 15. I believe that the Seahawks are going to have a really big game, right? But their defense is awful. That Seattle Seahawks defense is awful. That is not a Super Bowl team. 15 points is a lot of points to be laying down if you have a defense that is that bad.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think definitely look at some of those lines, and I think there's money to be made. However, with that, when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about the playoff week rundown. Let's talk a little bit about who we're going to pass the collection play for, which means who you need to be targeting for the next week or who you need to be adding right now off of the waiver wire, as well as who we're going to light a candle for. Those big bets on players that we hope can just tear it up. We hope that can just make or break a team. And we're also going to be answering the final questions on our Facebook Live, on Twitter. Hit us up at Big Poppy Brandon M or at 210 Fantasy Guide. If you have a question you want to get off your chest right now, call the Kia Box of Bacon phone lines 210-656-ESPN. Once again, that's 210-656-3776. This is the Fantasy Gods on ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, 1250 AM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
The Fantasy Gods is sponsored by RDK Advisors. Are you a business owner worried about losing your key employees? Stop the revolving door and let RDK Advisors create an executive bonus plan to attract and maintain your key employees. Call 210-508-0369 or visit rdkadvisors.com.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our 10 locations and check out the Kubota L2501 tractor package deal, which includes a 4-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. Check out our package deals at ewaldkubota.com.
Ho, 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 Santa here for Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters. It's the season of giving, and there is no better gift than a high-performance window tint, remote start car alarm, or car stereo from Mother's Window Tint. I have all 3 on my 1959 fully restored pickup truck. Ho, 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 I know what you're thinking. I only use the sled and reindeer one day a year. Mother's Window Tint stops more heat and more glare than any other film. You can protect your family with a remote start car alarm like I did. And if you want to make your car go thump, 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 Mother Thump, do like Mrs. Claus did. She went to Mother's Window Tint too. Prices are marked down. Safety precautions in place. Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters. Remember, do it at Mother's and save. Ho, ho, ho!
Texas Spine Care Center and Dr. Adam Brueggemann are committed to treating chronic back pain and helping patients understand and make informed decisions about orthopedic treatment. They focus on using the latest techniques, medicines, and practices to give their patients the best treatment options to manage and overcome pain. Texas Spine Care Center is committed to helping San Antonio find the best choices that will give you your life back. So call 210-941-1785 or go to texasspinecarecenter.com. 210-941-1785.
Welcome back into the Fantasy Gods. You are live with us on ESPN San Antonio. Right now, we're answering all your questions. You have calls. Call us in. It's 210-656-ESPN, 210-656-3776. That's the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines. I know right now we have a question coming in from a caller, Fletcher. Fletcher, what's going on, man? You are live with the Fantasy Gods. What's your question, brother?
Hey, bro. Good morning. So I'm curious at the flex. Of course, it's the playoffs. Need a win. Do I go DJ Chark against the crappy Titans secondary? Or do I slide in Gio Bernard and hopefully he puts up some numbers against the Cowgirls this week? Let me know what you think, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for the call, Fletcher. That's a great question. I do like this a lot. I think Giovanni Bernard and DJ Chark are both hit and miss players, right? They are. They're players that either they're going to go off for 15 to 20 or they're players that are going to go off for 8 to 4, 4 to 8. You know what I mean? It's not going to be anything in the middle. So for you, Michael, who do you trust more in a matchup like this?
Especially, did he say it was a PPR league?
I would assume so. Let's just assume half PPR to PPR, full PPR.
I would go with DJ Chark.
I completely agree.
Higher potential. Gio Bernard, he disappears in some games, and Cincinnati they have no incentive to win this game. No incentive to win this game. Well, DJ Chark doesn't have much of incentive either. But the fact of the matter is, I think that Chark has higher potential. Both of them are boom bust, but the boom is much greater with Chark.
Yep, I agree. I think that is exactly what I would say as well. So with that, that would be my pick as well for who to play. I think DJ Chark would be the best play there. And then I also think when we answer our Facebook questions and YouTube questions, we have one about Miles Sanders or Jeff Wilson in a standard league. Not too exciting there. What do you think about Miles Sanders, Jeff Wilson, standard league?
Well, we've been talking so bad about Miles Sanders this entire day. So Jeff Wilson, if he is getting touches, he does well. I mean, he had that blow-up game a few weeks ago where he had 112 yards. But last week didn't get much play, man. So if it's not I would probably go with Wilson, but I would be holding my nose the entire time.
I sadly agree. I think Wilson would be the better play. Miles Sanders just does not seem like he's going to get any touches, and Wilson at least has the one play break-off ability, so that would be mine as well. We have a question from YouTube from Lucius asking, would you start Lamar or Brady this week, guys? Thanks in advance.
I really like Brady this week. I really, really do like Brady, and I think Lamar is going to be in bad weather tomorrow. It's going to be cold weather, might be really windy. I think Brady's the play.
Okay, Brady is the play. You heard it here, guys. I like that as well. I think Brady will be a great play. And then also we have Bars in the Tuck from YouTube asking, afternoon, with Gibson out, Akers on my bench, and Gaskin with COVID, I need a flex standard. Pick one. Deandre Washington, Lindsey, Wilson, Pittman Jr. Thanks. #playoffs.
That is just a bad week right there, man.
That's a rough one.
Especially if you didn't play Akers on Thursday. I would probably go with DeAndre Washington.
Ooh, I agree. I think the touches are there. I think the touches will be what decides this game. So for me, I completely will agree with you, and I think DeAndre Washington is the play there. Now, with us coming down on the show, Michael, go ahead. I'm sorry, you want to say something?
Oh yeah, hey, do my flex in my listener league. My flex, Miles Sanders,
okay,
Chase Claypool, or Mike Williams.
Oh, Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool for me by a landslide.
Oh, I'm sorry, and then there's a fourth name in there, which is Ty Johnson.
Chase Claypool. I think Chase Claypool has the best boom potential for you to take over that game. He absolutely. The thing is, bro, Claypool could give you 8 points, 10 points, or he can give you 40. Like the dude just had, it's just outrageous the amount of points that guy can score. We have Charlie coming in on YouTube asking, start 2 and flex, wide receiver 2 spots, full PPR, CD, T, QT, Geo, Edmonds.
We're all about QT this week, so I'll say QT, and I'd probably say T.
Yeah, I think T. Higgins would be a great play as well. So exactly, we have been just agreeing all day, and it's a beautiful sight.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Why start now? We've been disagreeing with each other for 13 weeks, and now this week we're thinking the same way.
I know, and I kind of like it though. You know what I'm saying? Because at least it shows that maybe we've grown on each other. Maybe we've helped each other grow. Obviously, I think definitely my great picks have helped you a little bit to grow. You know what I'm saying? But I think as we continue the year, man, playoffs are here. Any last minute advice on how to approach the playoffs, Mike?
You know, right now I would have you think about what have your players been doing lately.
Yep.
The last 4 weeks or so, go back, look at what they've done. We now know who they are. Are they performing? Are they getting targets as a receiver? Are they getting touches as a running back? Go back the last 4 weeks and trust your gut.
I think it's definitely going to be a trust your gut type of end to the season. You drafted these players to play them, or you picked them up to play them. Right now, this is where big names have big games. I truly believe when you look at like Michael said, the past 4 weeks, past 5 weeks, but then also look at matchups. Have they played the teams before? Have they played a similar game before against a similar defense or whatever the case? Look at stuff like that. You only have 5 minutes to decide before 12 o'clock games kick off. Do not overthink it. That's the biggest advice we can give. Do not overthink it. A lot of you all are playing for money the same way Michael and I do in our leagues. If you're playing for money, go win that money. Do not overthink it.
Yes, that's exactly it. And also keep an eye out on the weather. This week, not that big of an issue, but next week it can be.
Yes, keep an eye on the weather. Absolutely. I think that's going to be a big factor moving into these late winter games. So, with that being said, thank you for joining us. I am Brandon Big Papi Medina. That is Michael Jimenez. This is the Fantasy Gods on ESPN San Antonio. We thank you. We hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Go cook on the barbecue pit. Get that barbacoa ready. Get some beer going, some liquor drinking. Have a good day. And like always, Michael, how do we always end this show, baby?
Well, except for you, Mexican Adam Schefter. May the Fantasy Gods be with you.
We'll see you guys.